1.
Good morning, everyone. So I will discuss about climate change and global warming. So these two terms are commonly interchanged and sometimes used as one word. First, let's define the two terms. So climate change. Climate change is a change in the typical or average weather of a region or a city. While global warming is the recent increase in the world's temperature that is believed to be caused by the increase of certain gases such as carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So climate change is has a broader scope compared to global warming. Global warming is the precursor of climate change. And climate change is talks about long-term effect of global warming. So I'm not going to talk about the cause and the effect of climate change and global warming. What I really want to talk about is the global scenario. So what's really happening because of climate change and global warming. So first issue is the sea level rise. So this is an island country in the Pacific. This is Kiribati. So Kiribati has a total land area of 800 square kilometer, and it has inhabitants numbered to 102,000. So it's really a small country. It's beside Australia and New Zealand. This is Kiribati's president, Anote Tong. So Anote Tong has been advocating bold action against climate change because rising sea levels due largely to climate change have slowly eaten away at the country's 313 square miles. So Kiribati is a small country, and now they lost 313 square miles of their land due to rising sea levels. So around the world, sea levels have risen nearly 3 inches since the early 1990s due to ice melt caused by global warming. Even if countries are to reduce global sea level, reduce their emissions as much as policymakers have promised during international agreements, global sea levels will still rise by 1 to 2 feet by 2100. So Kiribati is an island that is affected by rising sea levels. So even if there is a moderate sea rise, it's really catastrophic in their country. Also, they said that they experience extreme weather events such as storms. It is stronger compared to the storms they experienced few decades ago. So islanders will start leaving Kiribati in 2020 as rising seas make life too difficult. So that is 4 years from now. So in 2030, the sea level is expected to go up to here, and while 2050 is expected to go up here. So it's really, the rising of the sea level is really fast. The government of Kiribati is battling this issue for a long time now, so they build coastal walls to protect the citizens from rising sea levels and also extreme weather events. Also, a Japanese company offered them floating islands. This is an example of a seawall. So it is made of wood. It protects the houses from sea level rise and storms. While this is a family building their seawall, which is made up of rocks. However, seawalls are not enough, especially during storms. Last year, Kiribati purchased 5,000 acres of land nearby Fiji so that meron silang malilipatan if ever the sea level rise continues. Okay. So the population in Tarawa is the main island of Kiribati, is expected to grow by 72%. Yun nga, dahil kasi yung mga citizens lumilipat na dun sa main island nila because yung tinitirhan nila is mataas na yung tubig. So, the environment in Tarawa is already fragile. And if the population increase will continue, it can collapse. One of the issue na they experience in Tarawa is the water supply. So their groundwater is really a few meters above the surface. That's why it can easily be contaminated by human activities and also by animals. Like very common yung sa feces, fecal contamination. This is a resident in Tarawa. His house is beside an oil deposit, parang oil company. And he shows the contaminated yung water by dipping a stick to the groundwater and lighting it. So as you can see, nag-flame siya. Ibig sabihin, the groundwater is contaminated. Also, the groundwater in Tarawa experiences parang salinity. Kasi nga, tumataas na yung sea level. So, the groundwater is maalat na rin siya. Second issue is the melting of the polar ice. So, the two issues are connected. So, there is a sea level rise due to the melting of the polar ice. But a specific species is experiences endangerment due to melting of the polar ice. So, this is a polar bear. There are fewer than 25,000 polar bears left in the wild. So, bakit ba na-endangered ang polar bear? It's because these Arctic predators, which depend on constantly diminishing amounts of sea ice to catch marine mammals such as seals, are declining in number and fast. So, polar bears' main prey are seals, and they are best hunted on ice. Without sea ice, polar bears cannot catch enough seals to eat. So how do polar bears cope up with this? First, putting leftovers on ice. So putting leftovers on ice is not a usual action of polar bears. So a research team in Svalbard, it's in Norway, recently observed a starving polar bear eating a dolphin and burying the leftovers in the snow to save for later. So this is unusual for a polar bear. Second, searching for food alternatives. So as I mentioned, the polar bear was eating a dolphin. That species of dolphin is actually not commonly eaten by polar bears. And also this. So this is a snow goose eggs. It also became a backup food source for polar bears. Because 88 snow goose eggs are about a calorific equivalent of a seal. So snow goose have become endangered in Canada, but they have recovered. But now they are in the brink of being endangered again because of polar bear attacks. Last is eating people food. So polar bears now search in the garbages along the community for food source. So this is unusual again for polar bears. In 2014, the town of Arviat in Canada, they had to cancel a regular trick-or-treating and hold Halloween indoors due to concern that children wandering outside will be at risk of a polar bear attack. So the WWF also hired polar bear monitors who will use flashlight and bear bangers. So they make loud noises so that the polar bears will be discouraged. last issue, food security. So food security, kapag ito na yung issue, we are all affected, whether what country you are in or whether you're a boy, a girl, rich or poor, so we are all affected by food security. This is the Banaue rice terraces. This is a very good example of a problem, climate change impact in agriculture. So Banaue rice terraces, future climate projections in the Ifugao province suggest an increase in temperature of 0.9 degrees Celsius by 2020 and 1.9 degrees Celsius to 2.1 degrees Celsius by 2050, as well as differences in the projected rainfall. So climate change is expected to increase rainfall intensities and lengthen the duration of the dry season, resulting in shortages of water supplies, landslide disasters, and terrace collapses. So if you watch the documentary 6 Degrees, so it tackles about the changes or the global community will undergo in every degree addition in our global temperature. So here in our country, we have an average of 0.63, if I'm right, 0.63 degrees Celsius addition in our temperature in our country. So that's just less than a degree, and we are experiencing a lot of changes. 15,000 hectares of Ifugao rice terraces have been abandoned due to low productivity over the last 50 years. This is because of extreme weather events and long dry season. The Ifugao people have continued to plant their native rice varieties. This is one of the reasons too, which are more sensitive than introduced varieties. So the Ifugaos continue to use their native rice variety, which is not good if there's climate change. So sensitive kasi yung native rice. And also we all know the issue about the young Ifugaos that they don't want to plant anymore. They want to work in the offices, and also the earthworm incident in Ifugao. So the exotic earthworms, yung malalaki, so they destroy the Banaue rice terraces. So these are one of the few issues that the global community, our country, is experiencing because of climate change and global warming. Thank you for listening.